Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is 4:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And let's see. Today I want to talk a little bit about the video I made yesterday. Uh I think it's interesting how it almost seems like there's a collective consciousness. Because today when I turned on this morning when I turned on YouTube and I found Beaus' video talking about coping with what's going on right now. And this happens so often. It's eerie that and it's not just. It seems like people, everybody's on the same page a lot of time, like a collective consciousness, and it's comforting to know that everybody, a lot of other people, are kind of on the same page. And then after that, I came across a video that I posted on my community page, Hans Wilhelm. Let me just tell you a little bit about Hans Wilhelm. I started watching his videos about 2 years ago, and they helped me immensely with everything in my life's been going great for the last 13 and a half years with recovery and everything. But I got a little carried away with the whole frustration and fear of the current situation with the president, Trump, and all that. And I was getting very angry. And I started watching his videos, and it's what's pulled me out of that anger and frustration and negative mindset. I can also contribute, like watching his videos. I've had this is as I've told you guys, this is my second YouTube channel, and on this channel, I took the path of trying to be more positive, of looking for people that are a lot like me, like Bo, and complimenting them and working with them. With my first YouTube channel, it was pretty much the opposite. I was very angry and negative, and I would tend to go to Trump sites and antagonize to get more viewers. And the difference was amazing. This channel is increasing like more than I ever imagined. And I credit it all to a positive mindset with complimenting and working with channels that are like mine or that I admire. Even just like this morning when I posted Hans Wilhelm, or when I posted a video last week of that young black lady talking with the National Guard or the Army guy, reaching out and with positive interaction has worked wonders in my life. All right, so yesterday's video, I get excited. This is something I've used in my life over the last 13 and a half years. Whenever I have a problem, a negative thing happens in my life. Even take, for instance, my father dying when I was 9. It's taken me a long time to get to this point with my dad dying when I was 9, but I look at who I've become and what's come out of him, of losing him, how it made me a stronger man, how it made me grow to a man's shoes. It made me, if he hadn't passed, that would have been, sure, that would have been fantastic. But his passing forced me to become a better person. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to tell other people that losing one of your most loved family members, it has a good side to it. But it's finding the positive in everything. I'm facing a surgery coming up, and I'm looking forward to the other side. With my addiction and my recovery, I wouldn't be sitting here, and I'm happy. I'm happy every day. And this is what's come out of me being addicted. Would I have changed? If I had a choice, would I take away those 20, 25 years of addiction? I don't know, because it's made me who I am today. Those terrible years in hell made me who I am today, and I love who I am today, and I love my life today. I could truly and honestly say I am happy. Okay, so talking about yesterday's video, I've told you guys this before, and It's great. I love it. It's bizarre, but when I exercise, especially with the bike, and when I made that video yesterday, that's at the very top of my run. After I climb a 2 mile incline, that's the hardest part of my run, and my blood is pumping the most. And I've explained to you guys before about how I get the most intense ideas when the blood pumps, and this is a physiological fact that it pumps blood to the brain and your thoughts. It's much better for cognitive thinking, reasoning, and all that when you're exercising, as you guys could see when I made that video. One thing I want to talk about yesterday's video. After I made it, I felt a little apprehensive. I felt a little bad because I tend to look at the big picture. I get excited about things. I could be a little obsessive compulsive sometimes too. This is what I kind of worried about after I made that video yesterday. I haven't even looked at the comments yet, so I'm not sure if other people locked onto this or not. But I felt like I didn't talk about the Black Lives Matter and focus on the changes right now that need to happen as far as changes in policing and the current situation with George Floyd and the immediate Black Lives Matter situation. And I focused more on the election and what might have sounded like Joe Biden. And that's not the case. This was my thought process. I thought about everything that's happening and how I could utilize it, how we all could utilize this, make the best of the situation, especially when there's this much positive, this huge wave of positive. I hesitate to call it positivity, but it's this huge wave of change, a push for change. It's a mix of everything. It's a mix of hurt, anger, and frustration, and there's different ways it can come out. And I was so, it made me feel so good yesterday to see all these peaceful protests across the country. It made me feel so wonderful. And I thought about the big picture, the timing of all this. With an election coming, all of a sudden it came into my mind, well, what else is happening this year soon? And the election came to mind. And when you're talking about time for change, with an election year right now in 6 months, all of a sudden I realized as the timing couldn't be more perfect. The coinciding with this push for change and a change in our administration, our government, a big election coming up in 6 or 7 months, and the two together, so close together, I got this picture that, to use one with the other, to utilize this push that's going on now. With one of the biggest pushes for change is an election, and it became this light bulb in my head. And after I made the video, I was a little apprehensive because I almost felt like I left out the Black Lives Matter situation with changing the immediate policing and all that. And that's really not the case at all. I was just kind of talking about one aspect of it and how, like I said, the light bulb went off, and I was trying to think about how I could utilize in my situation. And I got to be frank with you guys too. I'm not a black person, and I'm not all that familiar, especially these days now that I'm clean and sober and I'm a law-abiding guy and living in this little town. I don't have a whole lot of interaction with the police. So I don't know a lot about policing practices, and I'll never know what it's like to be a black person or a person of color other than partially Native American. So my thought process was, well, what can I do? What do I know about what empowers me? And that's what I came up with. But by no means was I glossing over the importance of the Black Lives Matter movement and what's happening right now. So I hope that all made sense. Let me tell you guys about one other thing here. And I don't want to push people away or anything, because some people are turned off by, I'm not going to use the word religion. I'm talking about faith. When I first got into recovery 13 and a half years ago, they talked about the 12-step program, and it can be very frustrating and foreign, and it is to all new people into it. But it talked about a higher power, and it's something that turns a lot of people off, being told maybe they should pray or something like that. But I gave it a try one night, because when you're recovering from heroin addiction, you don't sleep for weeks. And there was a Bible in my drawer in my recovery room, and I started reading it, and I was just pulled in by the little stories in there, and I started trying to pray every day. And for the last 13 and a half years, every single morning when I first wake up, this is something I do. And it's not just praying, really. Now, this is for the people that are atheist or atheist, and I forgot the other word. It's also taking time in my morning to kind of set my goals for the day, on what I want out of this day, what I don't want out of this day, and I speak out loud in the morning. I'll say prayers, but I'll also speak out loud on what I want out of the day. Let me have the motivation and the drive to accomplish this today, to get out and sell my artwork today, to to just be myself on my YouTube channel and let it grow, and people see my natural personality today. And this is stuff I say every morning. And let me tell you guys, it's worked amazingly for me. It's worked 100%. One other thing, like I was thinking about what I could do, like with the current situation I have. I have my artwork, and I have this YouTube channel. And lately, I've just been granted to being a YouTube partner because of all you guys and your subscriptions, and the view time that you give me has kind of raised me up so that I'm now a YouTube partner, and I can have merchandise. So I started thinking about that and combining my artwork with everything I talk about in this channel and putting it on my merchandising page with not just t-shirts, but I'm thinking about anything that I can combine my artwork with, and something that will still further the cause that we all talk about, where I could contribute money charitably to the stuff we all talk about. And making the best of my situation, because there's a lot of businesses that are no longer going to be able to function with our current situation, with the virus and everything like that. So a lot of people have lost jobs. And instead of thinking about like opening up a store where I could sell my artwork, a little space in town, I started thinking about what I can do and how the internet is going to be utilized a lot more now because of the virus, and people, things aren't going to go back to normal. A lot of people have adjusted to this situation and will stay kind of in this situation. So there's going to be a lot more traffic here on the internet. And I thought about combining my artwork with the YouTube channel and making the best of a situation, plus moving toward the goals I talk about here on YouTube. So it really is, it's all about positivity and making the best of any situation, always looking for how you could turn a bad turn of events, a bad situation, into something positive, something you can use. And there's always something. And this has benefited me personally hugely over the last 13 and a half years. Like Bo was talking about, and a lot of other channels are talking about now. Some people feel crushed, feel fear, and that's natural with everything that's going on. You feel like the world's ending, and it might be, but it doesn't mean we can't make the best of it before it does. I know that sounds crazy, but like I said, it's about making the best and using what we have. in a positive manner. All right? I hope it made some sense today. You guys have a fantastic Monday. I'm going to be right back soon.